The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, just released an explainer video about cryptocurrency. They actually do a pretty good job explaining why cryptocurrency exists, what problems it's trying to solve, and the risks that are involved. So let's take a look and have a good discussion. For those of you guys that have no clue about the IMF, they are an organization of 189 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world. Created in 1945, the IMF is governed by and accountable to 189 countries that make up its near global membership. So that's a mouthful. Basically, the IMF is involved with money. And this organization, they definitely know what they're talking about when it comes to trade, buying and selling, investing, growth, all that stuff, which is why this explainer video is so important. You know, a lot of people look to the IMF and they actually have a full-blown video, explainer video about what cryptocurrencies are all about. So before I dive in, I want you guys to take a look at it. The video is only 2 minutes, very short. Take a look.
When we buy or sell things, the payment is usually processed by a bank or credit card company. Problem number one, the companies often take a cut of the transaction. Two, we have to trust these companies to protect our sensitive data from hackers. 3, most international payments take a long time and are expensive. To solve these problems, we could use a special currency that is secure and based on the science of cryptography, which is a way of protecting information using mathematics. This special type of currency is called a cryptocurrency and only exists in computer networks. When you send someone this special currency, the money goes directly to them, removing the middleman. And at the same time, the transaction is broadcast to the entire network and recorded in a permanent way, which means it's almost impossible to fool the system. Costs of making payments are lower, transactions are faster, especially across countries, and even those people around the globe who don't have bank accounts can buy or sell goods and participate in the global economy. However, there are some risks. The transactions in most cryptocurrencies are anonymous. Some cryptocurrencies can even be untraceable. This can make it easier for the bad guys to make payments without being noticed. If you lose your password, you could lose all your money. At the moment, cryptocurrencies are highly volatile. They can't process large amounts of transactions quickly yet, and they're not even widely accepted. But if we can counter the risks, then this new technology, or some variation of it, can completely change the way we sell, buy, save, invest, and pay our bills. And who knows, this could be the next step in the evolution of money.
So let's talk about what was said in this video. Let's start out with the problems. Why cryptocurrencies even exist and what problems it's trying to solve. Number one, when sending money, you need to utilize a third party like a bank or a credit card company. And they take a cut of the transaction. We know that, right? There's fees involved. We kind of just accept it, but yeah, there's fees, right? Nothing is free right now, especially when you send large amounts. Then there's a lot of fees, and that is something that cryptocurrency definitely helps with. What's another problem? Well, trust. You know, the banks and credit card companies, they have KYC information. They have all of our private data. And you know what? We have to trust them to secure that data. And we know they get breached all the time. Some of the biggest companies in the world, they get breached. So our credit card number, social security number, addresses, everything gets stolen, right? So there's a trust issue too. If you're trying to send money to your relatives or whoever, your friends, your family, to another country, usually it takes a long time and the fees go up substantially. So again, there are inherent problems with how the world sends and receives money, how it does trade. Of course, there are other problems that this video didn't talk about, right? Such as distrust in what the feds and governments around the world are doing in terms of their monetary policy and their printing of fiat. There's a lot more issues at stake, right? But I think in terms of general trade, for a normal person buying, selling, sending money, receiving money, I think these are the problems that most people think about. Now, what about the risks of cryptocurrencies that was mentioned in this video? Number one, transactions are anonymous, sometimes untraceable. I don't think that's actually a bad thing. Sending transactions anonymously, there's nothing wrong with that. Untraceable, also nothing wrong with it, except she mentions how bad actors or bad people can make transactions. So I get that point that the government may want to track down, illegal activities and bad actors. But if you look at, there's been a lot of data that's been looking at this topic in terms of how much illegal activity actually gets done with Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP. The percentage is actually really, really, really small. With that said, I do think having anonymous and untraceable transactions is a good thing. You don't want all your transactions to be tracked all the time. Now, second thing, this is a big one, losing your password. She's talking about losing your private key or the password to access your private key to access your wallet. This is a big one. With cryptocurrency, because you're not relying on a bank or any other entity, you're relying on yourself to safeguard and secure your own crypto. So passwords is going to be a thing. I don't know if it's ever going to change. Next, she mentions highly volatile. Now, for those of us that's been in the game, we know what she's talking about, prices and price fluctuations. But for most people, they're like, highly volatile, what does that mean? Is it explosive? So she actually dances around this, doesn't really explain what that means. And yes, right now it is highly volatile, but as we know, once the market continues to grow, Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto community, keeps going up and up and up, and the dollar value goes higher, it's going to be very, very hard for bad actors or manipulators or inside trading to really affect the price. Right now, definitely yes. And that is also the reason why a lot of us are in the game, because there's potential due to the volatility. But in the future, I think it's going to die down a lot more. She also mentioned can't process large transactions right now. And that is true, right? We know Bitcoin network can't process a lot of transactions. That's why there's a reliance on the Lightning Network right now. Same thing with Ethereum, trying to scale. There are some cryptocurrencies and some protocols that can scale, but when you're talking about on a global scale, it's still not enough. So yes, I think that is one of the technical problems that the community is trying to solve. And since it's technical, it can be solved. And lastly, not widely adopted. And this is true. Although we're hearing more and more companies and vendors and retailers that are accepting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And same thing with wallets. Wallets are growing too, especially when you have like the Robinhood, Cash App, these kind of broker apps that are now starting to support Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They have a built-in wallet. And we're hearing about, governments like China and the US coming out the digital version of their fiat. This is all part of the growth process. So as wallets become more widely adopted and used, and then companies, retailers, merchants start accepting payments, it will be widely adopted. Just not right now, but think about credit cards, right? When it first came out, everyone was writing checks. Credit cards came out. Not a lot of people trusted them. And now everyone that's doing business handles credit cards. It's going to be the same thing with cryptocurrency. The last thing this explainer video talks about is very crucial. And it talks about how if we can counter the risks that are involved with cryptocurrency, that basically the world financial system is going to change in a big way in terms of how we buy, sell, invest, and save. I think this is huge for the IMF. They recognize the importance of cryptocurrencies. They really get it. And I think they realize that cryptocurrencies will change the world tomorrow in terms of how money is being transacted between P2P, P2B, or B2B. Cryptocurrencies is definitely here to stay. All right, what do you guys think about the explainer video in terms of what it talked about? the problems it's trying to solve, and the risks that are involved? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for my next video.